Welcome to Inside the Set with Set Decor. Inside the Set is a series that focuses on the design and decor of stories that excite us and ignite our imaginations, where we get to discuss the collaborations between production designers and set decorators, and hear firsthand accounts of how those works of art came to be, from their inception, ideas on the page, through completion, where we sit in the dark and experience them collectively.
Welcome to Inside the Set with Set Decor. I'm your host, Peter Gurski SDSA, and today I'm pleased to welcome set decorator Amy Feldman SDSA and production designer Glenda Rovello, and they're here to discuss their vision and creative collaboration on Paramount's revival of the hit series Frasier. So this their collaborative design relationship over multiple shows, really, it stretches back to 2011 and the beginning of Two Broke Girls.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But almost with old Christine in 2006, because Glenda and I did the split. But then Amy did the series, but Glenda did not. So it was almost a collaboration.
So close. Yeah.
So close.
Passing in the night. Right.
So this is sort of a question for each of you. That how did you come to your particular design discipline? Was there a particular aha moment or was there a particular path?
You know, I learned a lot by doing, I studied broadcasting and film. I didn't study decorating. And, I learned a lot by a lot of the set decorators I was working for. And so I have a lot of great mentors in my career, and I'm so lucky to have worked with Ann Ahrens, Beth Rubino, Lori Gaffin, and then I decided to make that jump to decorator, and then I put all that experience into one. But and this is going to sound strange, but honestly, it was when I started Two Broke Girls, because that whole thing, I always say Two Broke Girls pushed me outside of my comfort zone. I had to look at things differently and do things I've never done before.
Glenda, what about you?
My education, I have a master's in architecture, and people say, well, how did you get to where you are now? And I have to say that my education totally informs what I do even today. I still use the same skill set constantly. And how I got into television is that I had worked for a medium to largish architectural firm. And I knew that wasn't right for me. And I think I spent 18 months there, and almost all of them on one stairwell. And it was just, soul crushing. And then I went to a small design firm with a kind of an eccentric man. And then I knew I didn't want to stay there. And I happened to mention to a friend of mine at Paramount that I was so curious about entertainment, and he arranged a lunch for me with the production designer for the Arsenio Hall show. And I met him for lunch. He had shared my phone number with another production designer who was a non-union production designer. So, I had a chance of getting a job. And I worked for him for 13 years, and that was Bruce Ryan. And in 2011, I met Amy, and it's such a happy collaboration, and there's something just so joyful in Amy's approach to developing characters. It's such a positive working relationship.
I completely agree. So comfortable and open, and I'm so grateful for it. So.
Of course, today we're here to talk about the award-winning reboot of the classic, iconic 90s show, Frasier. What were the initial conversations with the showrunner, and were certain guiding visual ideas set at that time for the series, like the color palette?
It was a design level or a design aspiration. The original show was designed by Roy Christopher, it was so different than any other sitcom in its time. And I just so admired that work. So when I met with the showrunners, we talked about the level of excellence, and we wanted to maintain that. But we knew that Frasier, he's moving to a new city, so this is a new place. But given that, we also had the level of his taste level, which is very high, and that's what we followed. It was more of what the character might choose in 2023.
And was there anything that was brought forward from the old sets?
Yeah. In the original show, he had collected like pre-Columbian art, which I did. I bought a lot of used, well, obviously they're used, but
From Etsy.
I got brand new pre-Columbian art. So we did that, and we did a glass collection.
Oh, yeah. It's Austrian. It's an Austrian iridescent, like 1920s glass collection. But I don't think he had that on the original Frasier.
No, he didn't.
It just shows that the man's a collector.
And we had some old vintage books and just a lot of classic looking, one of a kind pieces. The furniture was all different. It's contemporary. It's wealth. It shows a good taste. It's sophisticated, just like he is.
And we've even created a little cheat sheet for the writers so that they could reference things that exist in the set to show, that he has a very sophisticated palette, whether it's the Mario Bellini chairs or Steinway piano.
There's a lot of through lines of some beautiful, beautiful wall coverings. And can you talk about that and developing those ideas and the collaboration on that?
So the wallpaper you're looking at right now, that is created by a studio in Kansas City. It's called Porter Taleo, and it is just so on the nose for a psychiatrist.
Well, it almost looks like a Rorschach test, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And everyone sees what they want to see. I think when Kelsey first saw it, he asked me why I put the Christmas tree wallpaper in the set.
Yeah, he did.
I can see the bookcase back there. That looks custom. Did you collaborate on that as well?
We saw that in our shopping spree at Noir.
Mm-hmm.
We bought that day. And the console, right to the right upstage of the door, you can't really see it. It is all metal, and it's beautiful. The shape of it, if you look at it straight on, it's got a really nice profile. It's really beautiful. We got that there as well. As well as the black spindle chair.
Amy, could you tell us about this beautiful rug in the living room?
That came from Wayfair.
But doesn't it look great?
It's so amazing.
Yeah, and I think that like Amy made choices like those like totems downstage of the front door. Like that shows that either they're like artifacts that he's collected on his travels or through auction. And then we wanted to say certain designer names, and so we could say Kelly Wursler because she made those pads on the stools downstage. So they have like a list of names that they can use.
Yeah.
Of either like we can say brutalist because we do have some brutalist pieces in there, the Christian Lacroix, Kelly Wursler, Mario Bellini, that kind of thing. So yeah.
I know we're jumping around, but just to jump back to that beautiful art piece above that unusual console.
Mm-hmm. Natural Curiosities. Yeah, there's a few gems over there that you just look through it and you really have to just pick out the ones you like and put them in the right setting, and they just work. I mean, it looks rich, it looks wealthy. It's a beautiful abstract. The colors are the green and the blue, and they work with our palette. And I want to say those pieces downstage, those wood pieces were actually from Restoration Hardware. And getting those cleared was like down to the wire. We were
really,
oh my God, just, yeah, but we did. It was just a lot of sweating, but we did. They cleared them. So
now the one thing, of course, talking about sitcoms that we have to address is the classic sitcom couch. And how many did you have to preview for the showrunners? Oh, one, just one.
Actually, Glenda and I went shopping together, and we saw that sofa, and I think it was like, we didn't even see it on the floor. it was up on a shelf, and we're like, oh, hey, that's it. That's it. We could, we both agreed, and then picked, we had to have it upholstered. So we picked a fabric, and the same with the gray chair in the back behind Freddie.
There's a lot of sort of semi-custom pieces.
Right. Well, can I talk about those pendants right there?
Please do. Yes.
So those two pendants were made by a ceramicist, Ryan Maneely. He used to be a set dresser. He started making these lights and they just took off, and he's extremely successful now. But the amazing thing about these is that the dots that go around each line is a letter in Morse code. So one of the fixtures says Frasier and one says Kelsey.
They're so unusual and so specific to the set, so beautiful. One of those really great details. Okay, so the other sconces in the room, I see the double arm sconce back by the Steinway. Can you talk about those? Are those custom?
All the other sconces I bought from Arteriors directly.
Great. And then we see it, this large cabinet, is that custom or was that a purchase?
HD Buttercup.
Okay, so you hit all the big notes for the set decorators.
Well, because we had to buy the rug. I actually had that rug, but because it was just in our inventory, but that was from Revival. That oil on that light behind the piano, that is from Omega. So we just do a production rental on that one.
All the window treatments are custom, yes?
Yes. Warner Brothers did those.
See that little collage? It's the modern sconce that has like a onyx sort of shade. And then Amy has like a really beautiful old painting. And then below that, a modern painting. And then the architectural models at the bottom. That's what I love about Amy.
It's the magic of the melody.
It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful composition.
Mixing and matching. All right. Funny enough, the dining table itself, I found at CBS Assets. And it was rough. It was in rough shape, but it came back, it was glorious once it was restored. It has a big walnut, like a 60-inch walnut top. It's so beautiful. But the base is nice. And the chairs, really, I bought them from Bellini in Beverly Hills. And, every week we had fresh flowers on the set, Kathy Ball, Hollywood Vines.
You have taken so many different pieces from so many different sources and put them in this lovely environment. So do you think the secret to the success of this set is being able to shop together and collab that way?
I mean, Glenda doesn't shop with me all the time, but we do once in a while. And when we do, man, we hit it big.
We do.
We do. I'm old school where I will actually print pictures at CVS because I don't like to show them on an iPad or computer. I put them together like a puzzle, I'll put this sofa and this chair and this rug. And then if it's like a brand new set, of course, I always show Glenda for a new permanent set and run stuff by her. And, and I always show her my top choices and, we talk about it, which is so great about collaborating with her, because she's so open and I love hearing her input.
Jimmy Burrows directed the pilot. Were there any specifics from him for the new sets when he saw them?
Jimmy has just standards. He, for a permanent set, he wants to have the front door on the, camera left. That's just because we read from left to right. He likes wing walls a certain distance from doors, so that, he can capture an entrance. And so there are just standards. But Jimmy is a very supportive director. So he believes that we've had the conversation about aesthetics with the writers and that we're telling their stories, and then he lets us have our space and decision-making abilities.
I love, and I think everybody else does, the double arches that are separated there by the island. And what was the inspiration for that, Glenda?
Originally, it was a single arch, and the island was, kind of in both rooms. And then the more we talked about it, they wanted a little bit more separation so that they could actually have a farce, like what you just saw. And we liked the way it looked. So that is the inspiration behind it.
Very distinctive. And Amy, I see behind Frasier's head, The little circle and the dot, can you tell us about that artwork?
That is a ceramicist that actually Glenda found at a fair.
In Palm Springs. Yeah, Palm Springs, the Modernism show. Jean Smith, and she's in Colorado.
Yeah, they're just really, the sides of them, they look like it's cork. It's really beautiful.
Oh, fantastic. Layered like that.
Yeah.
Now, I love seeing, of course, again, the beautiful draperies, such a fan, but also glad to see that you have some beautiful lamps as well, because it can be so hard to work in a lamp these days because nobody wants it blocking their shot.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll take a chance if I find this low lamp and I'll put it next to a sofa, but usually it does go away, But yeah, that one we see, and it's a beautiful lamp. So
yeah, it's very pretty. And Amy tends to put like those big branches back there as well. So it's, yeah.
Oh, is that it? That's inside.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And it's all the way against the upstage wall, so we can get away with a lot of things back there.
Yeah, there's a built-in back there.
Look how Amy mixed that, the marble modern table and those kind of rustic and they're rush chairs. It's just beautiful.
Yes, beautiful, those
Beautiful
rush chairs.
chairs.
Where are those from, Amy?
Arteriers?
They're brand new?
Yeah. Look at that leg that Glenda put in there on the corner.
Oh, yes, the famous leg. Can you talk about that?
I wanted something extraordinary. And so I went on the internet and I found this leg that was made out of white oak. And anything that's like a newer insertion is white oak. And then the front door and that back cabinet, those are the walnut.
Fantastic. Very striking. Lots of beautiful, very rich and sophisticated textures, just to telegraph that idea of how wealthy he is. He obviously has the nicest apartment in the building.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So he's in a brownstone of some sort, right? And then across the hall is where his son Freddie lives. But then Freddie ends up moving in with him. So did the apartment change at all when Freddie moves in?
There's an episode where he tries to bring in his stuff, like a beer neon and his air hockey table, which is Frasier just cringes at the sight of it. So nothing changed in the apartment.
So just to see a little bit of Freddie's apartment, just to see the contrast.
Oh, that's the kitchen. And we didn't have to touch the oven at all. It came that way.
He loved it. It looks so great.
So, and that the oven hood is so great.
Yeah, that was fun.
And is that a washer and dryer behind him?
Stackable. Yes.
So good. Well, that shows really the great contrast between father and son.
Right.
So there's another main set. That's his office at Harvard, where he's a visiting lecturer. And he has to share it with a longtime friend / is a kind of a foe. There's some amazing wallpaper in here in the frieze there above the cabinetry. Can you talk about that?
Sure. It is manufactured by Bradbury and Bradbury in California. They're in a little tiny beach community in Northern California. And it's the real William Morris that they still silk screen. So it's just, it's just delicious, to see it in person. And then it's all real oak paneling and it's, recessed and there's plaster on the walls. In the research, I saw an office at Harvard that wasn't as precious as this one. It was a little bit bigger and it was an apartment head, but I just took some of the architectural elements and like boiled it down and made it very small. And this is kind of the jewel box that we came up with.
They did talk about a partner's desk because then that made it easy for the small office not to have two desks. So but Alan has obviously been there for a long time, not very contemporary. He still has a Rolodex right there. You see that?
Yes.
And he has traveled around the world too. There's artifacts from different places and behind him, his various certificates and degrees. And then behind Frasier, there's like a tufted wingback chair and a completely different, beautiful brown. And there's a chess table in between. So, he's just collected things, the English horses and stuff. Yeah, I got those from Omega. Well, the lighting too, like he has an old, it's like some kind of Tiffany kind of lamp, and Frasier just got one that was at office services. So yeah, it was fun, and it looks. I'm proud of how it looks. I think it looks beautiful.
Well, it wasn't like it didn't come together overnight. It really was a layered, an additive process, which was really enjoyable. But it's not like, it's not just one shopping trip, that's for sure.
Right.
Sure.
And, it wasn't just this set, the bar, Mahoney's bar. It's always, to me, the biggest challenge is time. That's it. You give me time and I'll do more. And thankfully our producer was understanding about the budget, and because she knows we give Kelsey what he wants, but it was just a lot to do in 3 weeks.
This set, Amy found lots of, decor pieces to reflect firefighters and also authors.
Yeah, our first note was like, make it like a firefighter bar, because Freddie's a firefighter and they all hang out there. And then they said two firefighty, yeah. And then more academic. So that's when we threw in all those images. I mean, there's a dictionary on a stand there. There's a little shelf unit with books to read.
Like when they have like trivia night, they have the dictionary there.
And Mahoney's obviously a tribute to John Mahoney, who played Frasier's dad in the series.
So did you mine all the basements of the prop houses for some of the lovely vintage looking things that are in this bar?
Again, because it's a permanent set, like that coffee table back there, I bought from Amsterdam Modern, and I love it. So I bought that, and the tabletops are rented from Air Design. The chairs, though, I actually did buy those on first dibs, just because I didn't want to rent them for that long. But the lighting, I just wanted to look for unusual lighting. I love lighting, and I love finding things that no one else has seen before. So I found those actually came the sconces, the milk glass sconces came from Paris. And they're old.
Oh, and there is a corner booth that was made from a church pew that we just cut it at a 45 and it became a booth.
Oh, sacrilege. So how was the process? I mean, in doing a different, more casual set like this, was it sort of a looser, funner process? Because I'm seeing touches like the acrylic piece that's engraved or above the booth that they're sitting in.
We made those booths. Those are custom booths, so we made those.
Glenda original, yes.
Is that supposed to be like engraved glass?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but it's I don't know. It's kind of Olive Gardenish.
Okay, good. It's so amazing because the front bar looks so vintage with the paneling detail and the bar rail.
Yeah, great painters. Yeah, real materials and great painters.
Yeah.
Where'd you find the amazing fire hose reel?
eBay.
Okay, great. Yeah. So the internet for this show, the internet, because of the speed for which you had to put together, the internet was a good resource for you on this.
I mean, I have a lot of vintage, I got some old fireman's jackets and hats, and I mean, that was fun. There's fun shopping for stuff like that. And I think I did get a few pieces from Warner Brothers because they have that great stuff down in the basement.
Okay, so we're going to go look at the bowling alley now. Of course, one of the realities of a multicam is a swing set. Amazing giant bowling pin out of glass block. Okay, was there an inspiration, a bowling alley that was an inspiration for this particular one?
No, I was more inspired by the wallpaper. And it's three rooms, so you're only seeing the center room. You're not seeing the lanes or the game room.
So you did the whole gamut. It must have taken up the
entire was huge.
Stage.
The whole episode, pretty much.
Now, Amy, were you a youth bowler? So you were very comfortable doing a bowling alley?
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. All up to year 10, my birthday parties were at a bowling alley.
Wow, look at those, the awards on the wall. Is that a ball washer back
It
there?
sure is,
Amazing.
Peter. That is a ball washer. Thank you. Well, I went down to I forgot what the place is.
Murray Lanes, Murray something, Murray.
Oh yeah, Murray Lanes, right. And rented a bunch of, stuff from him. And you see the bowling balls pins on the wall?
Yeah, the sculpture sort of a thing. Yeah.
Well, modern props used to have those pins like that were cut in half, and I had used them on a pilot we did many, many centuries ago, and I put them on the wall. But there's no more modern props, so I bought the pins, and
Nice.
we cut them in half. So I was able to do my little arrangement again. I brought it back to life. So
Fantastic from the depths of modern props. And are those, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the fabulous detail. Are those tiny little bowling keychains?
yes, they are, Peter. Yeah, you just little impulse buys when you go to rent your shoes.
Now, is that a vintage sconce? Is there a mixture of vintage
Yeah,
or is it
RC
all
vintage.
repurposed?
This was a lot of RC vintage. Thank you, Willie. And Murray Lanes. There was some of the lanes, and Heaven or Las Vegas, and Nights of Neon. For all the neon, it was a lot of neon, like a lot of neon.
Yep.
Is that wallpaper in different
It
colorways?
is.
that
It's
what
two
that
different
is?
colorways.
Fantastic. And then did you have the rug printed or was that something
No,
that was
that was at
available?
Leno City, just the way it is.
But you see on the seat, look on the seat, we put graphics created by our
Hugo Maldonado.
great
Our
graphic
little Hugo
designer.
Maldonado. Fantastic.
Mhm.
But I loved behind the desk, there were some like photographs of bowlers or things like that.
Mhm.
Was that something sourced and got clearance on?
Yeah, well, there was Hollywood Cinema Arts has some really great, fabulous images of bowlers from like the 70s, and they're on another wall. But those were just bowlers that I got, and we handmade some signs and stuff like that. So
Now, did you have to rent the bowling shoes as well?
from Murray Lanes, they had like 40 of them. So
Oh.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
For each of you, what was your favorite set?
You're asking me like my favorite child. I don't think I can answer that. I really can't. Like they're all so different. And, I'm telling you, it's just a joyful process.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love, Frasier has character, but a place like Mahoney's really has layers and layers. Frasier's not as layered, but you have to show the character in the fewer pieces that are there. Each one has its own unique joy in it. So I always say it's like a blank canvas when I go shopping and the guys are unloading the truck and like, let me in there. So, that feeling, right? It's yeah. When you start to dress, it's fun.
How did SDSA members support you on this project? I know you must have shopped at almost all the vendors, it seems.
Yeah, they did. Like I didn't mention some of the art from Art Pick, and I ended up buying a lot of it at the end. And I mean, Marina is just so great to work with. She'll put the rental towards the purchase or whatever, but she does great deals. Or if you have to extend your rental a couple of days, she's just very easy to work with. So I'm always grateful for that. Omega's in there, and Faux Library was wonderful. This season, we ended up buying most of the pieces from Alan and Frasier's office, which, I mean, personally, I was so happy to give them that chunk of money, given what they went through. So, and they were fine to sell it. So, I've been doing this for a long time that I feel like I have a good rapport with a lot of the vendors, and they support me. I love to support them when I can.
What is the secret to your long and successful partnership between production design and set decorating?
Well, I truly appreciate Amy, her talent and her steadfastness, I guess. And I respect her, tremendously.
The same goes for me and Glenda. I mean, I trust her as well. I respect the hell out of her. And I do, I really do. And I admire her. And she's just easy to work with. And, when she asks for something, I understand why. There's always a reason. And I've worked with a lot of different designers, and there's designers she's the one that I have the closest collaboration with. I don't work with anyone else this way, and that's fine. Everyone else has their style. I don't show many other designers, I give them an idea and then I just do it. But there's just something about working with Glenda that we collaborate, and it's just turns out the way it turns out, and I'm so happy and I'm pleased.
Yeah, we're better together.
There's a great synergy. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really a delight. And thank you for joining us today.
And thank you, Peter.
You
made it, so comfortable. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Inside the Set with Set Decor. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website, setdecor.com.